Foy.
Who, if anyone, can lead the Labour Party to success in 2020?
I like the if anyone. Right. Rachel Johnson.
Well, I was sad when Chuka withdrew so soon from... So were we. I'd like to launch a campaign to bring back Chuka's candidacy.
Please don't.
Failing finance it. Failing that, I think a lot of Tories are paying their £3 to vote, as we all know, for Jeremy Corbyn to become the next Labour leader on the grounds that he will put the Labour Party out of power for a generation. I don't think that's a good... I think that the Tories need a good opposition. I think Chuka, sadly, isn't in the race. If I'm going to deflect the question slightly, I'm just glad I wasn't asked about who's going to be the next Tory leader, because I was assuming that would be coming at some point.
Why would that be?
Well, because this is the question that, you know...
yes. You have a horse in the race, is the way to put it.
If I had been asked that, I would have literally said exactly what David Cameron said in his kitchen, which is, on the Tory side, they are spoilt for choice.
And who's your number for that?
As I say, on the Tory side, they are spoilt for choice, and I think it went in this order: George Osborne, Boris Johnson, Theresa May. I'm not... Look, I mean...
All right. All right. The man up there with spectacles on, in the second row from the back.
It just amazes me that the Labour seem to want to forget the Tony Blair years. It seems to me that they said that sort of dirty years, even though that's the only time they've been electable in the last 40 years. They want to go back to Jeremy Corbyn, which seems laughable, really, because there's no way he's going to win an election. He's just going to take you further and further back. And the Conservatives are going to be back in again. They're going to be laughing.
Okay.
It's just not going to change anything.
Thomas Shepherd, as a former Labour man.
Yeah, I mean, 20 years ago I was a full-time Labour official. I mean, they didn't listen to my advice then, in fairness, so they probably wouldn't want it now. But, I think the situation in Scotland is really quite remarkable, given that Labour has one MP left out of 59, and there has just been a complete and fundamental change in the public attitude and the public allegiance.
Can you see anyone who can change that?
No, not in Scotland. I mean, I think the question in Scotland you need to ask is, what is the Labour Party for, and is it necessary? And my answer to that is no, it is not, because I think the SNP has replaced the Labour Party as, in part, the party of the urban working class, which the Labour Party used to be. I do think, though, that England needs a Labour Party. It needs a good, strong Labour Party, and it needs an opposition to the Conservatives.
And who's your person to lead it?
I honestly don't know, and I think it's...
Well, you heard him say they mustn't go back to Blair. They must advance. Well,
here's the advice I would offer. I think that part of this debate says that Labour's got this awful problem because it's hemorrhaging votes to the SNP in Scotland, and it's hemorrhaging different people's votes to UKIP in England, and that it has to look both left and right at the same time. Right. I don't think that's actually true. I don't think it's true. I think the demographic that it's lost in Scotland is similar to the demographic that it's losing in many parts of urban and northern England, and that the answer is to try and be a bit more passionate and be a conviction party that believes in a real alternative and argue for it.
And person there with a hand up there. Yes. Far away, we haven't got much time.
Just for Chuka, I would say that you publicly said that you pulled out of the Labour leadership race because you weren't aware of how much publicity you would have. And I would like to ask you, what exactly do you think would happen if you were Prime Minister?
What was the question? Sorry, I didn't get it out.
Sorry, you pulled out because of the publicity.
If you were made Prime Minister, did you not think that you would have publicity then as well? How were you going to prepare for that?
Didn't you think
that's a completely different level of publicity, surely?
Did you make a distinction between leading the Labour Party and becoming Prime Minister?
Well, yeah, and if you're in the race and you can't handle the publicity, how then as Prime Minister can you handle any kind of publicity at all? Because it's going to be a lot more as Prime Minister. So why did you really pull out?
All right, let him answer.
You want me to answer? To be frank, I expected to get a lot of attention myself. I wasn't naive at all about that, but I didn't think that my loved ones and my family would get the kind of attention that they did, and I didn't really think it was fair to put them through that at this time, and I didn't feel it was right for me, and I thought you've got to be honest with yourself and you've got to be honest with the country on that. But just in terms
Does that rule you out forever?
No, I would never say never, and I think
you let down a lot of people, Chuka.
I really hope that you know, I'm not active in politics when we're selecting another leader, because I'm hoping that we will win in 2020. But can I just say a few things about what's been said? I do totally...
Not too many, because you haven't got...
Well, a lot was said about my party, and one thing I would agree with, I think the party's got to get over Tony Blair. This is somebody who won 3 general elections. I disagreed very strongly with our action in Iraq, but that doesn't mean that we should ignore all the fantastic things we did, like introducing the minimum wage that we've been talking about tonight, and a lot of the good things that were done during our time in office. I do think, going to Rachel's point, the party does need to think very carefully what message the result in September, when we select our leader, will send to the country. And it also needs to ask itself the question of who do the Tories really want to do well in this contest, and why. But essentially, the final thing I'll just say about this, it isn't just about the leader, it's actually about the ideas. And I think all the political parties are struggling to work out how we can make globalisation work, not just for the millions of people being lifted out of poverty in emerging market economies, but how we can make it work for everybody in our country. And that's what I want to focus on.
Louise Bors, you have 30 seconds.
OK, well, I mean, obviously, we were devastated when Chuka drew out of the race, because obviously, as UKIP, Labour voters flocking to us across the north of England, we couldn't wait to see Chuka sitting in a working men's club drinking a pint of stout. And we would have really looked forward to that. So we were devastated. That, you know, they know they're in trouble. Our 2020 strategy is taking on Labour across the north of England, and we came second in swathes of seats across northern England. This is where we belong. We are now the party of the working people. If Tommy thinks the SNP are the party of the working people, look at that now. You know, that's where you two are now.
All right. Anna, 30 seconds to Anna.
I was delighted when Chuka decided not to stand for the leadership, because I think he would be, unfortunately, a very good leader of the Labour Party. Look, being serious for a minute, I actually genuinely do believe that we need a strong opposition. It's good for democracy, and I think the Labour Party is in one hell of a mess. And when I look at the backbenchers on Labour, there are an awful lot of very left-wing, new Labour MPs. Their party is no longer in the centre ground. So I think Corbyn will come second, and I think that Andy will come first. Andy Burnham will come first.
The answer to the question,
and they'll be out of government for 10 years.
Is Liz Kendall. Liz Kendall, I do believe, is the one who can get us.
But she won't win, Chuka. She won't.